designers, so here now I'm going to be showing you how to draft a dartless bodice. Okay, so these are the materials that you'll be needing: pattern paper, your writing material, pattern master, and your measuring tape. This pattern is very useful for when you want to make something quick, fast, with no darts, like when you want to make a dartless corset. This is how you're going to draft it. From the top of your pattern paper, you're going to take your vertical measurements, which includes your shoulder to waist and your blouse length measurement. So for this, I used 16 inches for my shoulder to waist and 26 inches for my shoulder to blouse length. Okay, so that is what I have marked, and I am ruling a straight line on those lines. Can you see? So we have the waistline and the blouse length line. So the next thing now is to get my armhole depth. And to get my armhole depth, I'm going to divide my bust measurement into 6 plus 1.5 inches, and I have 8 inches, and that is what I just marked. Okay, that is my chest line. Moving on, I'm going to mark my back width, which is 7 inches plus half inch, and that gives me 7.5, and I'll come to the chest line and mark the same 7.5, and with my ruler I'm just going to rule on it. I'm going to mark 3 inches for my neck width and for my neck depth, and with the curve of my ruler I'm going to connect the 2 points together with a very slight curve. Okay, you can go ahead and mark 3 by 3 inches for your own as well. All right, now to get my shoulder slope, I'm going to mark 1 inch from the tip of my paper, and I'm going to slope it into my neckline just like that. And the remaining, I'm going to place my tape on it, divide it into 2, make a point there, and I'm going to come in. Can you see the direction of my hand? I'm going to go in by half of an inch, and I'll make a point there. On the chest line, I'm going to divide my bust measurement into 4, and I'll make a point there like that, and I'll connect the 3 points together with my curve. I'm not going to do it at once, I'm just going to do it one after the other, just like that. Make sure that you arrange your ruler very well. From my center front, I'm going to go in by 4 inches, which is the half of my nipple to nipple. So you can go on and mark your nipple to nipple divided by 4. I'll mark the same thing on my waistline, and I'll mark the same thing on my blouse length line, and I'm going to rule on those points with my straight ruler. Okay, so go on and make sure that you do the same thing. On the shoulder line, which is the tip of my paper, I'm going to mark my shoulder to nipple measurement. Okay, so I'll make a point there and I'll rule it out, and that is where my nipple line is. I am doing this because there are some designs that you would need to locate your nipple points even though it is dartless. Alright, so the next thing now is to get our body measurement, and from the center front on the waistline, I'm going to mark my waist measurements divided by 4. Okay, I'm not adding any stitching allowance to this pattern, I'm just drafting my body on it. Okay, so on the blouse length line again, I'm going to mark my hip measurements divided by 4, and with the cuff part of my ruler, can you see the way that I am placing my ruler? So with the cuff part, you're going to connect everything together from the bust line to the waistline, and from the waistline to the blouse length line with my ruler, and as simple as that, you are done drafting your dartless bodice. The last thing I want to do now is totally optional. You can do it or not if you want. So from the hem line, I'm just going to go up with 2.5 inches. You can use 2 inches, 3 inches, whatever that you want. It is totally dependent on the style that you're trying to recreate, especially in corsets. Okay, so I'm just placing my ruler however I want. You can play around this, you can totally play around this, whatever shape that you want, just use your ruler to draw it out. if you want it straight, you want it slant, any design at all, just make sure that you draw it out, and there you have it. And this is how you make a quick dartless bodice. To do the back, you just have to repeat the same process. And new to pattern drafting and bodice making, you can just try this out before we go to the main thing.